I'm Amy Taubin, and I'm here at the Quad Cinema for the Cohen Media Channel. And I'm going to talk about 3 films by Jean-Luc Godard, very different films, but all addressing issues that have never made the films themselves seem more relevant. One is, as people who are familiar with Godard's work, is the issue of the feminine, or the woman question, or the female body, or sexual desire, and female subjectivity. Obviously, this is so hard to make clear, is a male director. When he addresses female subjectivity, he is obviously addressing his own concept of female subjectivity once removed. But he probably, of all directors of the second half of the 20th century, because all of these 3 films are from the second half of the 20th century, all these 3 films say the most relevant things about all those issues around women and the feminine more interestingly, I think, than anyone else's films, although they can make you furious for what he refuses to say or how he refuses to look. I find them endlessly provocative and mostly extremely satisfying. So we have 3 very different films. The earliest is A Married Woman, which is a study of woman who lives in Paris. When Godard made the film, he had intended to call it The Married Woman, but the censors objected, saying certainly this particular woman is not representative of all married women, and therefore A Married Woman is the title. This particular woman has a husband and a lover, neither of whom are satisfying or interesting in her relationship to them. She is extremely detached from her life, from herself. She hasn't got a clue who she is, and the society in which she lives doesn't help that at all. A very different construct is Hail Mary, made in 1985, a female character who has enormous agency. She is a young woman who has a boyfriend, Joseph, and she discovers that she is pregnant, although she is a virgin. Joseph has a great deal of difficulty believing this story, that she is still a virgin and yet she is pregnant. And she won't allow him really to find this out for herself because she wants to be a virgin till they are married. And so there is a virgin birth in the later years of the 20th century. And Godard puts this in a historical context. And the context is around the issue of belief, that Christianity is founded on a story that, for us, is very hard to believe. And that has different ramifications, good and bad for our culture, and good and bad for Mary, who is and believes that she is the mother of a second Christ come to her, and that she gives birth to him when she is a virgin. And then, by the end of the film, she has raised him to be the age where he can be independent, and she goes back to simply being a woman. The 3rd film is Forever Mozart. And this is like the Godard troubled stepchild of a film, which was very badly received when it came out, and only now is beginning to be acknowledged for the really interesting film that it is, and interesting specifically in terms of, does art have meaning? Can it write the history of a cataclysm, specifically a war? For Godard, the issue of Sarajevo in 2000 and the terrible war that was taking place there it became an issue of, could he make a film that in any way dealt with this? And could that film be anything except absurd? And since it was absurd, could the people who were whose project it was to perform a play in Sarajevo, could they do anything except perform a farce? And yet, Mozart, of course, lives forever.